whatever names you may have, those names simply don't fit together. And to the point as to how Brazil sets up tactically. In your mind, you're thinking, if you're Dorival, we're going to go press Argentina because this is the way that you have it set up. We're going to press them higher. Who are you going to press with? Vini? Vini doesn't press with Real Madrid, with Brazil, or with anybody. Rodrigo has a free role, doesn't really press. Rafinha may press. Mateus Cunha may give you that work. But once you are sort of like, are we pressing, are we not pressing? Are we pressing, are we not pressing? You're neither here nor there. You're in the middle of nowhere. So by the time you try to get to the ball, it's too late. The ball is already past you. That's why, at the highest level, it's impossible to be completing 34 passes that ends up in a goal, and that is exactly what Argentina did.
So is it simple as sack the coach, it resolves the problem?
It may help, but I don't think it resolves the issues. Your big-name players in this team haven't proven to be reliable at the national team level.
Ever.
Rafinha, put him aside because at the very least, he looks like he cares. Vini, on the other hand, we think of him as being this guy who's going to be fully engaged, as he tends to be quite often with Real Madrid. Engage with the fans, engage with the opposition, engage with the referee, engage and creating. In this particular performance, disengage. And what's really surprising is that he actually was coming from what was thought to be a good performer against Colombia. So you think he would maintain that momentum. Instead, he disappeared. And if he's not giving you what you want offensively, and then you're asking him to press defensively and he doesn't give you that either, then you're carrying an extra body on the field and somebody who doesn't give you the productivity that you need. It ends up being surplus to requirements. And it doesn't match what the needs were for this game. And I hate to say it, but when you have a player like Vini, you think you should have him on the field all the time. But if you're trying to press together, he's not the guy that's going to help you do that.
Vini's a one-man band, isn't he?
Well, yes.
Certainly with Brazil, he's a one-man band. Everything he did in this game in particular was all about what he was trying to do, which is the complete opposite of what Argentina were trying to do. Argentina were playing for each other. They were moving the ball for each other. Every single thing they did was for the guy standing next to them. And the impressive thing about Argentina is they do the simple things to an incredible standard. The passing and the moving and the closing down is incredibly, they make it look incredibly easy, but it's smart footballers. Every time Brazil had the ball, whoever closed the ball was closing in the correct manner. They were shown to where they were strong. And everybody was taking the cues behind so that on the odd occasion, when somebody didn't quite get it right, there was somebody else there to cover it up. That is just smart footballers. That's what Argentina have. They got talent, they got togetherness, and they got football brains. Brazil, I've got talent, nothing else.
You know where I'm going to go next with the Argentina conversation.
Okay.
There was no Messi for these two games.
Yeah.
Argentina were exceptional.
Yes.
What does that mean for the future?
It means that if Messi is fit and ready to go, he will be starting the 2026 World Cup, and that I don't think that's in doubt at all.
But it's not a be-all and end-all with regards to Argentina winning it.
I think what Messi will give this team in the 2026 World Cup is the moment of magic that may be the difference between advancing and not advancing at a quarterfinal, at a semifinal. That's what Lionel Messi can still give this group. But if they go on to repeat as a World Cup winner, while people may focus on Messi, I think you would lose sight of the fact that Argentina is what they are because they are a team. And it goes to the point that Stevie was making, in that everybody knows what their role is and how they're able to back each other up, work together, You can see the lines of Argentina working together. The same thing that you cannot see from Brazil, that they're all over the place. You watch Argentina and you see the concepts, you see the ideas, you see the work of a group that I think right now used to depend on Lionel Messi. Now Lionel Messi depends on this group. And we were seeing that transition happening in the 2022 World Cup. Now we have confirmation of that this group, because Lautaro Martinez wasn't there either. and you start throwing the name Lionel Messi as well, and you're thinking, man, without guys that are considered to be difference makers, they look this good. It's because the group itself is the strongest part about Argentina, not Lionel Messi. The strongest part of this team is the team itself.
I think Gustavo is back with us. Gustavo, you'll love this question. Argentina, the best team in the world at the moment? No, he's not. Ali,
Well, hard to argue, but it's also hard to argue against Spain as well.
makes for a great World Cup.
Absolutely. If that were the World Cup final, I think we would take it right now.
Well, England obviously will be there.
Okay. If it were Spain, Argentina, we would take that
Did
right
you not see
now.
us against Latvia?
This is what I would say about Argentina. They made... Now, Brazil has been struggling, and we know that. We've already talked about that. But they made Brazil look ordinary. A middle-of-the-pack team, if that. Now, Brazil doesn't help themselves because they have... I have no idea how this odds have
8-1.
Brazil.
You're jumping on 8-1.
Seriously.
Crikey.
I don't know how you watch Brazil and you have them that high. That's just, if you watch them play, there's nothing that tells you Brazil is going to be there or thereabouts. If you want more evidence, just watch Copa America. Watch them play yesterday. This is the same team that has tied Venezuela twice in World Cup qualifiers. I mean, should I go with more evidence as to why Brazil is not going to be there or thereabouts in the 2026 World Cup? This is a team that has a whole bunch of issues that are beyond just one manager.
Dan, you're a betting man, right? I'm
Yes.
not. I know nothing about odds, and I don't know how they get to where they are.
Yep.
How can the bookies possibly have Argentina at 8-1 behind? Just use Brazil as the example. How is that possible?
The argument is obviously that people maybe aren't as educated as we are about the world of football. So therefore, Brazil still hold that kind of, we've won the World Cup more than anyone else. And therefore, they are near the favourites. Like Liverpool are always big favourites for games because they're Liverpool.
Yeah, it still doesn't. You can't get your head. You just can't get your head around it.
But that's part of the conversation, and that's part of the point, that Brazil are no longer an elite team in the world. Not this group.
But that's not new, though, Ali.
No, well, it
It's
isn't,
been-
but,
when was the
but we seem to have to remind people of it because
The bookies.
they quite frankly, they haven't been an elite team for a while. But every time you watch them playing this sort of games, when you watch last night's game, you see one team, elite level, top tier.
Yeah.
Absolutely, no doubt about it, one of the best teams in the world. And then you see another team that is part of the pack, part of the middle pack. And middle pack, and when I say middle of the pack, I'm talking about they're in the conversation down there. Just watch the CONMEBOL standings. Just analyze the standings. And that's where Brazil is. They're in that conversation down there. They're with Paraguay, and they're tying games with Venezuela. That's where they are.
So is that not down to the manager?
I just want to go to Gustavo.
Right.
Gustavo, how did we get here? How did Brazil fall so far from being the best team, the one that everybody wants to follow in the world, to a team, as Ali said, is now mediocre?
Well, I really think that the manager has a big part of this story. I don't think that Dorival Junior is an international manager. I think that he's a good manager for the Brazilian clubs, not internationally. So I think that with a better manager, Brazil could be better. I can understand the critics about the generation in Brazil. We don't have the best generation of all time, for sure. We know that, but I still think that Brazil has a good group of players that can become a very good team, much more competitive than what we have seen over the last months. So, for example, what team in the world has players like Ederson, Alisson, Bruno Guimarães, Vinícius Junior, Rodrigo, Rafinha? Well, as Ali said, they haven't played at their best for the national team, but they can play. I think that with a better manager, a better group of managers working with them, they can become a better team. I know that this is not the best generation, but this is not the worst generation at all. So I really think that with a better manager, we can have a much better team.
Gustavo, good man. Thank you very much. Next time Brazil lose, we'll have you back on the show.
Welcome.
See you in a couple of weeks.
We won't have to wait too long, I doubt. Checking out what else happened.
Maybe next week.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe next week with the new manager.
Yeah, don't make any dinner plans. Let's see what else has been going on in CONMEBOL World Cup qualifying last night, starting with Colombia against Paraguay. Great start